You're here. Awesome. Professor Roman did tell me that you're very punctual, so I was expecting you to be here right on time. Yeah, I was just reading some documents on why Dunsparce does not have an evolution. It's very interesting stuff, but I don't think this concerns you at all, so let me close this and put it by the side. So, I know you were supposed to get your first Pokemon today, and Professor Rowan gave you today's date, but unfortunately, Professor Rowan got a call this morning, and it is the rule in life. If Professor Rowan gets a call, it means he has to go. So he left, and he left me in charge. He felt really bad about not being able to give you your first Pokemon and leaving you hanging. So he asked me if I could give you your first Pokemon. So I said sure. My name is Professor Manuka. Very nice to meet you. I'll be giving you your first Pokemon. I hope you've thought about which Pokemon you want, because it is a very hard choice, and usually people get very confused when they come here to get you their first Pokemon. So, before we start, any questions for me? Sure, yeah. You want me to explain to you how the process works? Okay. I'll show you the starter Pokemons. I'll tell you a little bit about them. You can select which one you want, and then I'll register you in the system, give you your Pokemon, and you'll be on your way. Okay, and then I'll give you some tips if you want them. Cool. Okay. So let's get you your first Pokemon. Times have changed, things have evolved. So I don't need to take you to a PC where you can access all the Pokemon. This is virtual reality. This is going to teleport you to the virtual briefcase of Professor Roman, and you can see the Pokemon, starter Pokemons there. I'll give you a little bit of a rundown on those Pokemons, and after you select your Pokemon, I'll give it to you here, okay? So just wear this, alright? Okay, can you hear me? Good. Alright, these are the 3 Pokemons in Professor Roman's virtual briefcase. The first one we have is a Turtwig. Turtwig is a turtle Pokemon. It's a grass type, very useful in the first gym, and also very adorable looking as well. Turtwig is more of a defensive Pokemon. Torterra is a very defensive Pokemon. If you're challenging the gym, I'm not sure if you're going to be doing gyms, but if you're doing gyms, it's going to be a very great Pokemon to have for your first gym battle. Next up we have Chimchar. Chimchar is a chimp Pokemon. This is a very great offensive and speed-based Pokemon. Of course, that means that it has a very low defense stats, so it's all about attack, maximizing the damage that you do, but don't count on this Pokemon being a tank or taking hits. It's probably gonna lose, and it has a disadvantage on first gym. Next one I have is a Piplup. Piplup is a penguin Pokemon, very great for the first gym. Evolves into Empoleon, which is a lot of people's favorite water type. So it's definitely a fan favorite. A lot of people pick either Piplup or Chimchar, but very great to have on your team nonetheless. So which one do you want? Oh, you want the Turtwig. Okay. It's a very wise choice. Turtwig is not as popular, but I'm sure you are going to be happy with it. Cool. You surprised me a little bit. I really thought you were going to go for Chimchar or Piplup. It's just how life is. Don't take it personally, but I think people really prefer either Chimchar or Piplup. You have an interesting taste. I really applaud that about you. Turtwig is a great Pokemon. It's going to help you out a lot in your journey, especially the first gym. I got you your Pokemon here, and I'm just going to open this up for you. Here is your Pokemon. So I will let you enjoy getting this Pokeball, and then in the meantime I'll just go and get all the other stuff that I need to give to you for you to be on your way, okay? Alright, enjoy, okay? So, it seems like you got your Pokemon. It looks like everything went smoothly. They do say that if you are getting your Pokeball and it shines really brightly, white color, any color actually, that means that that Pokemon has a very great affinity to you. Turtwigs seem to be a little bit more shy and adorable, and I think that comes from the fact that they're usually not preferred, unfortunately, over the Piplups and the Chimchars. So you have a Turtwig now. Please take good care of it. Show it lots of love and appreciation, okay? Good. If you don't mind, can you show me your Pokeball? Because there's some things I want to give to you. Okay. Very nice. So this is going to be your Pokédex. As you can probably tell, it contains information about your Pokemon Turtwig. After I scanned the Pokeball, it gave some information about Turtwig. So you can scroll to the next one. It gives you more information about how you met that Pokemon. So it was in our laboratory. Some stats for Turtwig and some more information. So this is all really great information. I hope that you use this Pokédex a lot. One request that Professor Robin did ask me that I make from you is that if you could catch a Steelix, that would be super helpful. Professor Robin thinks that there's some sort of a phenomena known as mega evolution that is specifically related to Steelix. I don't know what that is. I'm just a junior, so if you do find a Steelix, please make sure to catch it and please bring it back to us because we would really like to do that research, okay? From what I've heard, you can find them in Iron Island. I don't know if that's true or not, but Iron Island, a lot of things are made of iron. I would think Steelix would be there too. If you do find it, please catch it. Record it in the Pokédex as well, okay? So this is for you. I'll give this to you. The other thing is this. This is a journal. So this journal is going to be used for you to write down all the entries. Whatever you do in your adventure, make sure to write it down in a journal. This helps you keep track of what's going on and also, in a way, save your progress, if that makes sense, okay? Okay, very cool. So here's your diary. I'll put this here as well. Very cool. So you got your Pokeball, you got the Pokédex, you also have the journal. So come with me. Now let's go and get you registered in the Pokemon system. Yeah, we really do have to get you registered in the Pokemon system, unfortunately. These starter Pokemons are very rare. So whenever we give these out, we have to make sure we keep a record of every single one so that we know which trainer has which starter and just keep up with them, keep track of how they're treating their Pokemon, where they are in their journey. So, okay, so I have the PC here all ready to go. I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions and I need your answers to fill out here, okay? So, can you tell me your full name? Spell it out for me, okay? Alright. Okay. How old are you? Your first starter is Turtwig. Okay, very good. And then, do you plan on evolving your Turtwig or would you like to keep it as it is? Yeah, believe it or not, some trainers actually want to keep their starter Pokemon as it is because of, maybe they've formed an emotional connection with them. Maybe they think they look cute in their first or second evolutions. So, are you planning on evolving the Turtwig? Yes? Okay. Cool. Very nice. And then, what are your goals? So what would you like to do now that you have a Pokemon? What's your goal? Okay, you would like to go to the Pokemon League. Okay, getting gym badges. Alright. Cynthia is not easy to beat. I actually was a Pokemon trainer too at one point. I was unlucky, I didn't get a great starter Pokemon. I ended up with a Bidoof, and I trained that Bidoof so hard, and I went to the first Pokemon gym in Orberg City, lost 20 times in a row, and on my 21st time I met Professor Roven. He was there doing some archaeological research. That's when I met him for the first time, and I saw what he was doing. It looked very fascinating to me. I asked him if I could tag along, and he said he was going to Canalaf City. So I went with him to the library. I did some research, looked at some papers, and fell in love with researching. Ever since then, I've just been working as a junior to Professor Roven. So that's my story. If I could give you 2 cents of advice, since I was a Pokemon trainer just like you. Never had any gym badges, of course, but if I could give you an advice, that would be to go up north. Go north from Twin Leaf, get to Jubilife City. In Jubilife City, you can get a Poketch app. Poketch is kind of expensive, but if you're lucky, you might be able to get it on a special promotion where they give it to you for free. It depends on your luck. It's a very handy thing to have, honestly. From Jubilife, I want you to go east. If you go east, you can get to Orberg City. That's where the first gym is, and he's a rock type. So if you want to take him down, grass type, as you already picked, the Turtwig would be a great way of dealing with him. But please be sure to increase the depth and the width of your Pokemon. Don't just focus on one guy only, because you're not going to beat Cynthia with just a Turtwig or a Torterra. You need something more, okay? Alright. And you're gonna evolve the Turtwig, so I'm not gonna give you the Eviolite then. Eviolite is gonna increase the defenses, the sturdiness of your Pokemon, but in exchange it stops your Pokemon from evolving. But you want to evolve your Pokemon, so I'll just keep it to myself. I won't give it to you, okay? Alright, I think that about wraps up everything that I have. Do you have any questions for me? No, we don't have the Pokeballs on us, unfortunately. You'll have to go buy them from a PokeMart, probably Jubilife City. But I think you would probably find your luck there, okay? Alright, you'll meet Professor Roven on your journey sooner or later. He's everywhere, so you'll meet him somewhere down the line, and when you do, tell him I did a great job, because Professor Roven is very scary, and he's upset, and I don't want to get on his bad side, so please tell him I did a great job, even if you think I didn't. But thank you so much for coming. I was Professor Manuka. I'm sure we'll meet each other as well later down the line. Okay, you take care. Bye. Thank you so much for waiting. I hope the wait wasn't too long for you. Let's keep our voices down. If it's okay with you, I would like to whisper today. Okay? It's because there's students here, they stay here until midnight, and they take around this time at night to take an hour-long nap, and then they get back to their study. I don't want to disturb their sleep, so let's just keep it a little bit low and whisper, if that's fine. Thank you so much for understanding. If you don't mind me asking, you're here in the Pokemon Academy. What would you like to know? Oh, you're a new adventurer. So it seems like you were here from Professor Roman's laboratory in Sandgem Town. Okay, very good. Yeah, I can answer any question. People call me Pokemon teacher, some call me doctor, some call me professor. I personally like to refer to myself as a Pokemon teacher. And the name I go by usually is Mr. Vigor. So, I'm Mr. Vigor. Very nice to meet you. And you are... Well, what a wonderful name. Very great. Well, you need guys like me so that we can help new adventurers like yourself go on the correct path and not get lost. For example, something like this here. box has many different things. Maybe a Pokeball, maybe a Voltorb, or maybe a, electrode. But in reality, it's just a picture of Jigglypuff from top-down view. Okay? That's why you need people like me to explain the inner workings of how Pokemon battles and how Pokemon works. You would have definitely guessed it as something incorrect had I not told you this was a Jigglypuff. But with that being said, what would you like to ask me? Oh, so you would like to know more about, your team and how you should make your own Pokemon team. Okay, I can certainly do that. Can I see your Pokemon right now? Turtwig and Starly, okay. Alright, let me construct this simulation real quickly. Okay. Okay, I have the simulation here ready to go, so let's take a look at the screen now, okay? Alright. Okay, so I have your simulation all ready to go. I created the charts really quickly. We have a really great software that does that, so it's not that hard. Seems like from your Pokemon team you have a Turtwig and a Starly, right? Okay, you're off to a very good start, I would say. Turtwig, as you would know, is grass type. Starly is a flying and normal type. Do you know what types are in Pokemon? Good. I'll give a quick introduction just in case. So, types refers to each Pokemon has its own type. So, you have grass, you have flying and normal, and each type is either great against another, or it's not that great, it's bad against it, or it's just, whatever, normal. So, what you would like to do is you would like to have Pokemon that carry all the different types, but you can only have 6 Pokemon at one time, so it's a little bit of a dilemma. So you have to be very smart. Right now, you have a Turtwig which is grass type. He's really great against water type, rock type, ground type. Since he's really good against these Pokemon, you can say that these are the 3 types that this Turtwig is gonna cover in battles for you. Let's look at the Starly now. Starly is flying and normal. So Starly is really great against fighting type Pokemon, bug type Pokemon, grass type Pokemon. Very good. So it seems like these 2 Pokemon cover 6 different types that they're great against. Now a question comes up is, what are they bad against? That's a great question to ask. Here I have Turtwig again. Turtwig is really bad against bug type, fire type, flying type, ice type, poison type. And then similarly, Starly is bad against ice type, rock type, electric type. These are all the different types that your Pokemon are weak against. One thing that you'll notice is they're both weak against ice. So he's weak against ice. He's also weak against ice. If you get to face a Pokemon that is ice type, you're gonna have a really hard time defeating that Pokemon. So for that reason, it's really important that the other 4 Pokemon that you select cover for your weaknesses. One thing I'll tell you is, you definitely want to have a Dragon type on your team. If you can get a Dragon type, that would be ideal. It's because Dragon type is only weak against Dragon, and it's also weak against Fairy types, but there's not that many Fairy types in our regions, So you should be fine. The only thing that can be effective against Dragon is Dragon itself. So it's a really strong type to have, and actually, based on the research we've done into the legendary Pokemon, the findings that came out, I read the papers in Kennel Library, Palkia, Dialga, and there's rumors to be a 3rd Pokemon. Yeah, yeah, the guy who found out about this was Professor Manuka. I think he works with Rowan now, so... Oh, you've met him. Okay. He gave you your Pokeball. That guy always, when you select a Turtwig, he'll always tell you it's not a popular choice, and that can put a little bit of doubt in your heart if you made the right choice or not. But trust me, he always says that, but he forgets to tell you how strong Torterra is. It's just not a popular choice, but that doesn't mean it's a bad Pokemon. It's a very great Pokemon to have. But he always skips that part and only says that it's not a popular choice. So that's just part of his habit. But what I would recommend to you is you catch a Fire-type Pokemon as soon as you can. Fire-type is going to make sure that you can take out any Ice-type Pokemon. That seems to be a common weakness for these two Pokemon. Now, unfortunately, in our Sinnoh region, we don't have that many great Fire-type options. So, Chimchar, you didn't get a Chimchar. So your other option can be a Bonita, so you can get a Rapidash, maybe. Other than that, I can't even think of another Pokemon that you can get here that is a great Fire-type that you can have. Maybe if you're lucky, you can find someone from the other regions. And, maybe get a Camerupt. Maybe you can get a, who knows, like Slugma, maybe. So, that's something for you to see and see which Pokemon you feel more comfortable with a Fire-type, but I would highly recommend that. So this is why it's so important to have a great, depth of different types in your Pokemon. But one more thing that's really important to have is to have your Pokemon have different movesets as well. And what do I mean by that? Well, let me try and explain to you. See, what I have right here is Torterra. So one great thing about Turtwig is that when it evolves, it becomes ground type as well. So you have a grass type and a ground type, and that's wonderful because that gives you more coverage and you don't have to look for a ground type specifically. Now my question to you is very simple. Do you plan on evolving your Turtwig? Yes? Great. I've met trainers that don't want to evolve their Pokemon, and usually if you are hesitant to evolve your Pokemon, I don't know how, but the Pokemon are very smart. They catch on to the fact that you don't want them to evolve, so they don't evolve. They stop their evolution midway, so it's great you want to evolve your Turtwig. No judgments here. So, this guy is gonna be part ground type, part grass. Now, I'm gonna give you two different movesets that this Pokemon can have. One of them being these four. Wood Hammer, Razor Leaf, Giga Drain, Lead Seed. Now, if you notice, the common trend in all these moves is that they're all grass type. Of course, Wood Hammer is a great move. Of course, Lead Seed is a great move. Razor Leaf is a great move. Giga Drain is awesome. You can use Wood Hammer and then use Giga Drain to heal back up. That's all wonderful. But imagine you're fighting a gym that's fire type, and although you don't want to be in that position, sometimes, Pokemon battles are so volatile, anything can happen. What if you end up facing a gym leader who has a fire type? You're stuck. If you have this moveset, you're stuck. What would be better if you have more depth in your coverage of Pokemon moves as well? Let's look at this one right here. You have Wood Hammer, you have Giga Drain, you have Earthquake, you have Crunch. Now, if you're facing a water-type Pokemon, you would use Wood Hammer and Giga Drain. That's perfect. Suppose you face a fire-type, for example, something like Infernape. You can just use Earthquake because ground type is super effective against fire type, so that would be a great alternative and gives you some playability. You can play around this idea a little bit. If you go with the first one, you're just completely screwed. There's no option for you to try and get that W. Win, of course. Another thing you can also do is give it even more, different breadth of types. course, having a dark type move is not going to be super effective against a type that would be super effective against Torterra, but it gives you more playability. You have more space to maneuver and strategize, and that's what you would like to do. You would like to have not only, strong moves, but also a wide variety of strong moves of different types. So that's what I would recommend to you as a trainer who's starting out. Please make sure to not only concentrate on the type your Pokemon is, but try to add a little bit more depth to the moves your Pokemons learn. For example, something like Infernape. Infernape can learn Grass Knot, which is a grass type move. Surprisingly, Infernape can learn it. If you teach Grass Knot to your Pokemon, and you're up against a water type, you can just use Grass Knot, and that should take care of it. Similarly, Thunder Punch. Infernape can learn Thunder Punch as well, and that's a great way of dealing with water types and flying types as well. In case you face a flying type, that's also super effective against an Infernape who's part fighting. Just use a Thunder Punch so you have some playability, and that's my point. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? Wonderful. It seems you are a great listener. It seems like everything I'm saying is getting across to you very nicely. That makes me very happy. Okay, so I've explained to you how to structure your team and how to structure your movesets of Pokemon. Is there something else you would like to ask me? I had a feeling you were going to ask me that, and as much as I would like to help you, I just can't answer that question because it's against the rules for me to help trainers. But I can give you a little bit of tip, and don't tell anyone I gave you this tip, okay? The first gym is a rock type gym. If you are smart, you can figure out what you have to do by just looking at this graph one more time. And even if you're not able to make that connection, I will help you out. I'm not gonna say anything more than that. I think you should be able to make that connection of what I'm trying to say here. Look, Turtwig is a great choice to start with, and you'll find as you go along in your journey that Turtwig is actually a very good starter Pokemon for the first few gyms. I'm trying to be ambiguous and not give you direct advice, but you'll notice that it's a great Pokemon to start with. Of course, a lot of people prefer the fire type Chimchar, but ask yourself, Chimchar is a fire type. Fire type, right? Fire type is not great against rock types. So, unless you manage to evolve your Chimchar before you get to the first gym, and your Chimchar turns into Monferno and can use some fighting type moves, you really don't have any chance of beating that gym. And let's be honest, who's gonna be able to evolve their Chimchar into Monferno before the first gym? This isn't a video game, right? So, I don't think it's very possible. Trainers, when they start off, are very naive. I don't think they're gonna be able to evolve their Chimchar into Monferno. So, your best bet is usually to go with a Piplup or a Turtwig, so I think you'll be okay. I believe in your abilities. The first gym is in Orberg City, so if you leave Jubilife City, go east. If you keep going east, you'll have to go through a cave, and at the end of that cave, you'll be at Orberg City. They do a lot of interesting stuff like old Pokemon artifacts as well, so it might be interesting. You might get to see some old Pokemon fossils as well, so keep a lookout for that. But is there anything else you'd like to ask me? Oh no, thank you so much. I always love when trainers come in, they start off their journey, and then they are just walking around, asking questions from people. This is the best part of your Pokemon journey. Always that possibility for you to learn something new, and it seems like you're fully taking advantage of it, and that's wonderful. Yeah. So You mentioned that Professor Manuka is the guy who gave you your first Pokemon, right? Yeah, Manuka is an interesting guy. I'm surprised he was the one who gave you your first Pokemon. Usually it's Rowan who does it. Oh, okay. I haven't seen Rowan personally. I don't think he's in Jubilife City. I don't know what he's doing, but you'll find him along your journey sooner or later. I'm sure of that. But Manuka, he's a great guy, and a lot of people call me the Pokemon Professor, but he's the real one. He's the real Pokemon Professor. I'm just a sign of respect. The students used to call me Professor, but I'm just a teacher. But is that all? I was going on a little bit of a yapping session there, but I hope you feel much better equipped with the Pokemon knowledge, and at the same time you feel much better equipped with fighting the first gym as well. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for cooperating with me by whispering. I didn't want to wake up the students, and at the same time, thank you so much. If you ever have any other questions, feel free to come back, okay? Alright, you take care. Bye. Yep, that's exactly right. Don't mind me asking, but you said this is your first time at the PokeMart. If that's the case, how do you have that Starly? Where did you get the Pokeball from to catch that Starly? You found it on the ground and just decided to use it? Usually if I find something, I put it on the Lost and Found, which is at the Pokemon Center. But I guess that's another course of action you can take. No, that's okay. That's okay. I would be actually concerned if you started entering people's houses without their permission and taking whatever was on the ground, but I'm sure you're not doing that. So that's okay. Not a problem at all. So before we start our transaction today, if you don't mind me asking, how many gym badges do you have? 0? Oh, you gotta start somewhere, and there is a gym here, so you're gonna have a really good time. Challenging the first gym leader, getting your first gym badge. But that does mean something like a great ball I cannot sell to you. That's just the rules. You can only get a great ball if you have 2 gym badges, otherwise we don't sell it. That's just to make sure you are safe, and then everybody else around you is safe as well. You see, Pokemon respect trainers based on their gym badges, and since you don't have enough, this great ball might allow you to catch Pokemon that you are not ready to keep. As a result, it can be a danger to yourself and others around you, so that's why we kind of have this rule where we just don't sell these, okay? So this is off the table for now. But with that being said, let's start our transaction. All these other things, they're for sale, so what would you like? Potion. I'm not sure if you've used potions so far. Have you? No? Okay. How have you been healing your Pokemon so far? You've been going to Pokemon centers, yeah. See, that makes perfect sense. Potion is a great thing to have in cases like these. For example, think of a situation where maybe you're going from Jubilife City to Orberg City, and your Pokemon are too low health, so you can't go back because there's wild Pokemon there. You can't go forward either because there's maybe trainers forward. What would you do in that situation? You just lose your Pokemon and put yourself in danger. So to combat that, we have Potion. Potion is a great thing to have in those situations, but also I would say Potion is a great thing to have when you're challenging gym leaders as well. What do I mean by that? Well, suppose you're using your Pokemon in a gym battle and you really don't want that Pokemon to faint. You can just use Potion. It's going to recover 20 health points so that your Pokemon can continue fighting without having to worry about fainting. It's a great thing to have. I would say you should keep many potions. The most important thing you should have is Potion. So with that in mind, do you want to have some? Yeah, our representative, I'll tell them at the end what you want. They're just going to bring everything over. These are just display items. Yeah. Usually it is translucent. This one is a see-through. Usually they're not, but it is translucent fluid. Okay, you'd like to have 5. Yeah, we can do that. No problem. Next up we have Repel. This is a great thing to have. Remember, the scenario in which you have to face wild Pokemon, but your Pokemon are maybe, worn out. You're not in a position to fight, or maybe you're just tired. The Pokemon are too weak. The battles are not worth it for you. You can put Repel on yourself. What that'll do is every Pokemon that is equal level as the strongest Pokemon on your team, they're not going to mess with you. Sometimes Pokemon that are stronger than your Pokemon in the wild, they're still going to challenge you because they understand that they're more of a threat. So they're still going to challenge you, but the ones equal or weaker, they're not going to challenge you. It's a great thing to have, especially when you're exploring different areas, exploring somewhere new. I would suggest keeping this, very seriously. I would consider it. Would you like to have one? No? Okay. It is a little bit pricey, and I think you're at that point in your adventure where you do want to face Pokemon, wild Pokemon, so that makes perfect sense to me. Okay, next up we have a Pokeball. As I told you, I can't give you the Great Ball. Looks like you've already found a Pokeball to catch the Starly. What about this? Do you think you need more Pokeballs, or you're good? Just 2 for good measures? Okay, yeah, we can do it for sure. One thing about the Pokeball is each Pokeball has its own efficiency rate. So the Pokeball is the most standard one. As you go up and farther, there's a Great Ball that I just declined to sell to you right now. There's also another one called the Ultra Ball, which is the highest quality of Pokeball you can use. There's other Pokeballs as well, and they have their own unique use cases and purposes. Once you go on your adventure, go to different PokeMarts, you might see different Pokeballs that are being sold there. Right now, you're starting out, you have no badges. Pokeball is the only thing you need right now, which is why that's the only thing I'm selling to you. So 2 of these, right? Okay. There we go. Well, this right here is a technical machine. Do you know what a technical machine is? No? Well, technical machines, they're like a CD, and what you do is you put that CD on top of a Pokemon's head. Once you put it on top of their head, they can learn the move that is stored away in the CD. That's pretty much how the technical machine works. Now, there's a condition that is associated with that. The condition is that you have to teach a move compatible to the Pokemon, right? This one is Rock Smash. Rock Smash is really great to have. You can smash rocks that you see outside as well in the normal terrain. One thing I would say though is this is a great move to use on the first gym as well, because this is a fighting type move. The first gym is rock type. However, you can't use this move in normal outside of battles in the normal terrain in Sinnoh. And that's because if everybody had Rock Smash and they started smashing all the rocks in Sinnoh, it would really ruin the landscape of this place. So the rule is that you can only use this after you beat the first gym. Now, it doesn't matter who your first gym is. In your case, it might be the first gym is the Orberg City gym. But after you beat them, they give you the authorization to start using this move outside of battles. You've demonstrated that you are strong enough and also sound enough to use this move very carefully and also making sure that you don't overdo it. So, keeping all of that information in mind, do you want to purchase this technical machine? Yeah, I can give you a demo on how it works. Give me just a second. See, I pull out the CD. Here I have the CD, which is the technical machine. Now, what I'm going to do is, this is going to be the next thing I'm going to sell to you. Here I have a Pikachu, a plush Pikachu, or Pokédoll. But if you have a real Pokemon, what you can do is you can take this, just put it right next to their head, like this. And if the Pokemon is compatible, they'll learn the move. If they're not compatible, nothing's gonna happen. If this was a real Pikachu, it wouldn't be able to learn this move because Rock Smash is not compatible with that Pikachu. But you said you have a Turtwig, right? My recommendation would be teach this move to the Turtwig. The Turtwig can learn it, and that's all you have to do. I would actually highly recommend that you purchase this because you might get stuck in the future if you're going forward with this. So you want this, right? Good, very good. All right, let me just put this back in. Very good. And since we're on that topic, let me just show you the very last thing as well. This right here, this is a Pokédoll. How does this work, you might be wondering? Well, if you're in a battle and you're in a situation where you can't run away from a Pokemon, or you're in a situation where the Pokemon you're facing is way stronger than what your Pokemon are, just use this. How you use this is when you're facing the Pokemon on your turn, when it's your turn, just do this. And just run for it. Because the Pokemon will be distracted. Take it out, just throw it, and run away. The Pokemon's going to be distracted. They won't know what hit them. Trust me. It sounds really goofy, but it works. 50% of the time, it works 100% of the time. I'm just kidding. It works all the time. This is a fail-proof technique. If you make a big mistake sometime, you go to a place where you should not be, and the Pokemon are too strong, just use this, and you can just run away. Okay? Great. So do you want this? Not yet. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Not a problem. If you get in that situation where you're in, facing a Pokemon that's really strong, you might miss not buying this, but I think you seem like a pretty smart individual, so just don't get yourself in that position, okay? Cool. I think that just about wraps up everything I have here. You bought 5 potions, 2 Pokeballs. I'll transfer the order over to that place. One final thing, and this might actually be interesting to you, is do you want this? This is a cap. You might have noticed that there are trainers here, especially hikers, that use this cap. They have their own version of the caps that they use on their head. It's usually a brown cap. This is a pretty interesting hat. You might want to use this. This is specific to Orberg City. This is a cultural significant cap. The gym leader, he definitely wears this. And if you're going to challenge him, you might see him wearing this. Just as a small, gesture of supporting the Orberg City's history and culture. You're going to see this cap a lot if you go into the outskirts of Orberg City, into the mountains area of Orberg City. You might notice there's a big patch of grass there, and it's a bit of a rocky area. A lot of hikers and people come there to do hikings and just to escape out the landscape, because that's a pretty famous spot in Orberg City. They're usually wearing this cap, and if you go there during daytime, you might be able to map out the landscape a lot better. But this cap, you'll see it a lot. People there are wearing this cap most of the times. So would you like to have this? A lot of people buy this as a souvenir. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Usually when trainers are starting out, they don't have a lot of spare cash on them to purchase things outside of what's necessary, so that's totally okay. But I had to present this to you because it is, as I said, very important to Orberg City's history. Well, I think that just about wraps it up. I'm gonna pass your order over. If you want some tips from me, what I'll tell you is one small thing. I don't think you're gonna find the gym leader at his gym. He's usually never there. During the daytime, he's sleeping. At the nighttime, he goes to the mines. So the Orberg City mines, that's where he goes to. And usually that's where, he's just doing his digging. So your best chance would be to go there and challenge him, because he just does the gym battle over there in the cave. So you'll be okay, alright? Okay, that sounds great. So thank you very much for coming in, and good luck in your gym battle. I think you got this. You have a great team on your hand. And I don't know much about battling, but I feel very confident that you are going to be able to win it. Bye. Hey, can you get 5 potions and 2 Pokeballs for this guy? Thanks. Thank you so much. Oh, you scared me there. Just snuck up on me. So, do you have any business with me? Oh, yeah. I am the rock type gym leader, or rock. As you can see, this right here is the gym badge for Orberg City. There's your proof that I am the rock type gym leader. My name is a rock. Yeah. What kind of rock? No. My name isn't a rock, it's a rock. A-R-A-A-K. Well, we're off to a rocky start, but I think I can salvage this conversation. Are you interested in what I was doing here? Yes? Okay, good. I was actually looking at this cement wall to see how well it was built. You see, in the Orberg mines, every gym leader, they have to organize and manage the Orberg mines, and we excavate out a lot of different things that belong to ancient Orberg City's history. So in one of our excavations, we found something, but we dug a little bit too deep into the cave wall, because of which we had to create the cement wall to support the cave structure. Yeah, there was a real fear that the cave would collapse on itself because we dug a little bit too deep. But it was all worth it. I'll show you the artifact that we found in a little bit. Yeah. But as part of the gym leader of Orberg City, these dangers, we have to undertake them. The previous gym leader, the gym leader before that, all of them had to undertake this. It's actually a part of the contract. When you do become the gym leader of Orberg City, you have to accept that you're going to be taking part in the Orberg mines and going to be the administrator of these mines. By that, do you know the previous gym leader of Orberg City? No? Well, I have his card right here. He left me this card before he left. He said it was a kind of a business card, but every gym leader has their own card that they give out, and this was his card. I think you maybe have seen him on the news or somewhere, but that used to be the previous gym leader, Roark, but it's me now for the past 3 years. What was I digging up in here? Oh, I was digging this up. This very beautiful cat. I don't know how it's related to Orberg City's history, but we're gonna send it over to the Orberg Museum. Have you been to the Orberg City Museum? No, not yet. Okay, I would highly recommend you go there, because everything we find in these Orberg mines, we send all of that over to the museum. This is going to go there too, where the archaeologists are going to figure out what the history of this thing is. Our job is mainly to just dig these things out, so that's what I did. But I think you're not that interested in this stuff. I think you're more interested in the gym battle, right? Yeah, well, if you don't mind me asking, how many gym badges do you have? 0? Okay, well, pardon me for being a little bit frustrated, but I've been having way too many trainers coming in these past couple of weeks, because Rowan and Manuka, those 2 scientists, I figured out their name from a friend of mine. They opened up their lab in Sanjam Town, and ever since then, unprepared trainers just get their first Pokemon in Sanjum Town, run all the way to Orberg City, and then challenge me for a battle. No idea on how battles work, how typings work, and they think they can beat me, and it's honestly very frustrating. It's like they're taking me for granted. But anyways, I'm sure you're probably far more prepared. Did you get a chance to go to the Pokemon school in Jubilife City? You did. Okay, that's good. That might have prepared you, but I'll have to see your actual strength in battle. Yeah, remember, what you're fighting for is right here. This gym badge right here. And if you manage to beat me, you're gonna get this, but it's not gonna be that easy to defeat me. I'm just gonna tell that to you right now. We do have different teams. All the gym leaders have different teams. So depending on how many badges the challenger has, we use different teams. In your case, I'm gonna use the most basic team that I have, since you have no gym badges. That way the fight is fair, and you can take on any gym leader you want. But enough talking. I think it's time we duel it out. So, as the gym leader of Orberg City, I would like to see what kind of trainer you are and what kind of trainer you're becoming. Yeah. I gladly accept your Pokemon Battle Challenge. Go, Geodude. I'm gonna rock your world. Geodude, use Stealth Rock. Go, Granados. Alright, you forced my hand. This is my ace Pokemon. From the Orberg mines themselves, I got the fossil. Granados, I want you to use Leer and then follow that up with a headbutt. I'm gonna set you up, and you're not even gonna know what hit you. Great job, Granados. Granados, dodge this. No. That's not good. How could I lose that? That's crazy. As much as I would hate to admit this, I think you won fair and square. No, I really mean it. I was noticing the little things that you were doing. More importantly, when I started off with the Geodude, I noticed you had the Starly out, and I thought you were just like all the other trainers that I was talking about, unprepared. But then, after I used Stealth Rock, I was gonna follow that up with the Toxic Spikes, but you switched out for the Turtwig just in time, so the Toxic Spikes didn't go off. If the Toxic Spikes went off on Turtwig and it was poisoned, I would have been able to drag out the battle long enough for the Turtwig to faint. But it didn't happen, and you prevented that, so great job. I noticed it in another place as well. When I had the Granados out, I used Leer because I didn't want you to use any potions. I was just gonna headbutt you next turn and take care of the Turtwig. But you caught on to that as well, and you immediately just used Razor Leaf. Did not drag out the battle in any way. So great job. I think you did everything perfectly. You outclassed me in every aspect. And as the gym leader of Orberg City, it is my honor to present you with this badge, your first gym badge. Congratulations. Well, outside of that, there are other presents as well that I would like to give to you. One of those presents is actually this, right here. This Roar card that I just showed you. Every gym leader that you're gonna face, they're gonna have their own favorite card. And usually as a memorabilia, what we do is we give out these favorite cards to the trainers that beat us. You're the first trainer in a whole week that beat me, so congratulations. You're gonna get to keep this because, let's be honest, I have no use of this, and Roar gave me 100 of these cards. I don't know why, but 3 years ago when he left, he gave me 100 of these, and I still have like 64 of them remaining, so there you go. This is also for you to keep. And then there is one more thing that I would like to give to you, and that is this. This right here is the hidden machine move called as Cut. Do you know what Cut does? No? Okay, let me explain to you. When you use Cut, you can break down or cut any tree in the normal Sinnoh terrain. It's very good if you're trying to find your path. I know so many trainers that lost their path and, without cut. Sometimes you just have to cut down a tree to make a way for yourself forward, so this is a great thing to have. Now, one thing to note is that conventionally what used to be the way was that you could get access to different HMs outside of battle, depending on how many gym badges you had. Now you can use all the HMs after beating any gym leader. So all you need is one gym badge. Doesn't matter who you beat, you can use all the HMs. Got it? So you can use this from now on. Here you go. But I would say, I think right now, neither Turtwig nor Starly can learn cut. So you maybe can catch a Bidoof. Bidoof is the most common Pokemon in Sinnoh and the most popular one. Maybe you can use a Bidoof. Or what you can do is go back to Jubilife City and try to get yourself a Poketch, because I notice you don't have one. If you have a Poketch, you can use these hidden machine moves without actually having a Pokemon that can use this move. Yeah, go around to the Poketch Tower. Maybe, they're kind enough to give you a free promotional one. But it all depends on your luck. And since we're talking about where you should go next, I think it makes the most sense for you to go back to Jubilife and then go up north. You're gonna pass through Eterna Forest to Eterna City. And I think that makes the most sense for you to do. If you go up north to Orberg City, you might notice that there's a really big uphill steep slope. And it's very hard to get up there, even with a bike. Only the experts can do it. But I wouldn't recommend that. You don't have a bike anyways. Just go back to Jubilife City, get yourself a Poketch, and then go up north. Okay? Cool. Eterna City? Yeah, Eterna City is a pretty great place, honestly. It's very well protected, but Eterna Forest, I would say be very careful. Eterna Forest, I don't know what it is about it, but it invites all the unsavory folks, so you have to be very careful there. Don't linger around too long, and if you can find a travel buddy, then feel free to go along with a travel buddy, okay? Awesome, that sounds good. I think that just about wraps up everything. One final thing I would say is that Turtwig is special. I notice how that Turtwig, the Pokeball is radiating a light. If you notice my Pokeball, this is my Cranidos. Nothing. There's no light. And it seems like that Turtwig has a special bond with you, and that's why that light is coming out. Either way, what I would say is take care of that Turtwig. It seems like a really great Pokemon, and it has a great bond with you. Alright? If you'd like to stay here, I can tell you more about how this whole stuff works with the Orberg mines. I know you're not interested and you have to be on your way. I was just messing with you. But I think this just about wraps up everything. I just have to send this back to the Orberg Museum. Do stop by the Orberg Museum if you would like and see all the amazing things. Okay, thank you very much. And also, congratulations one more time. Alright, take care. Bye. Pretty good wall, I have to say. Very good.